Broadcasting live from the Carter Subaru Studios. You're listening to KIRO Nights. Happy Monday. I'm G. Scott. The Online Trading Academy text line, it is 98973. Every Monday around 9 o'clock, we're doing something new. It is called What is on Your Mind Monday. We do this every Monday at 9 o'clock. Last week was our first. This is our second time doing it, and every single Monday we'll be continuing to do it at 9 o'clock. You can always text in on the Online Trading Academy text line, 98973, and let us know what's on your mind. You guys mind if I start off first and let you know what's on my mind? I kind of written down right here. Just in the month of January, okay? I'm giving you guys stats from the month of January. Ride with me on this one. Utah man, 27, threatened a mass shooting because he was a virgin and had never dated. That was in Utah. A Florida man last week, 21, executed 5 women inside of a bank. A New Jersey man, 39 years old, opened fire at a UPS and took 2 women hostage. A Louisiana man, 21, fatally shot his girlfriend, parents, and 3 others. That happened just at the end of last week. A Pennsylvania man, 21, fatally shot 3 men and injured an ex-girlfriend before shooting himself. In California, a man, 48, ambushed and fatally shot a woman officer as she, remember that whole situation. The Pennsylvania man, 27, bludgeoned, stabbed, and shot a woman who broke her. I could keep going and keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 more that I did not mention because I got tired. Okay. Gun violence. Gun violence is a women's issue. An American woman is fatally shot by a current or former intimate partner every 16 hours. Most mass shootings involve domestic violence. American women are 11 times more likely to be murdered with a firearm than women in any other developed nation. So, what's on my mind is that we have a huge problem. Not just with guns. I mean, that's just easy to say we have a gun problem in gun control. What's on my mind is really bothersome right now is that our women are in this situation where in this country they are 11 times more likely to be involved in a mass shooting than any other place, 11 times more than any other place in the world, any developed nation. So we're not a third world country. We're supposed to be one of the elite countries in the world, but yet that's still happening. That's what's on my mind.
Yeah, it's.
I just had to get it off my mind. It was on there.
No,
it was on there.
I think it's pretty frightening, also, especially because you have to imagine that a number of people who take up and decide to own firearms in the first place are probably doing so based on a sense of protection. This feeling of like, well, the people who I care about are going to be safer if I have a firearm around me.
Right.
And I feel like it's in those. The number of people who have found themselves in domestic violence situations, I wonder how many of them started out with that feeling of like, I will never need to use this on the person I love. This is only meant on enemies outward.
Right.
Wondering how often that gets turned inward.
Right. And that was just the month of January. That was welcome 2019 and where we are. And I guess I went and saw that stat because I don't know, like last week, that was kind of alarming to me, the bank situation, the fact that it was 4 employees, 1 customer, and all 5 were women inside that SunTrust bank. And I mean, it's just, I don't know, usually, there's a mass shooting and it's but it was just odd to me that it was just all 5. It was just women in there. And so I started looking at the stats and looking at everything, and I saw this person that had all the stats that had broken down, and like I said, I could have kept going, but I'm just saying this is a bothersome thing that here we are, like, man, that is a problem right there. And especially considering what we have been talking about lately. Frank, you guys know last week that I watched all of the Ted Bundy case, and Drew, I know you did all the work. We didn't get a chance to talk about the whole Ted Bundy thing, but Netflix had to really put out a thing and let everybody know to quit glamorizing Ted Bundy. Like, quit crushing on Ted Bundy. Yeah, because he was an animal. You know what I mean? He was a bad human being. But what's happening is the docuseries that just came out, and then the Zac Efron trailer that just came out at Sundance. We're going to be seeing that soon. And when you see the trailer for it, Zac Efron has the music and the highlights, and you can't have a conversation, or you can't see someone have a conversation about Ted Bundy within 5 minutes of someone saying, "Yeah, but
boy, was he charming."
That's the first thing that comes up, Drew.
Yeah, Netflix has apparently taken to Twitter and put out a tweet saying, "Hey, I've seen a lot of talk about Ted Bundy's alleged hotness and would like to gently remind everyone that there are literally thousands of hot men on the service, almost all of whom are not convicted serial murderers."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it's crazy because, I mean, I don't know that there would ever be a movie. Probably, I guess there probably would. I mean, you got the Lorena Bobbitts of the world, and you got those, but I don't know that Lorena Bobbitt would ever be glamorized, right? Sure. I don't know that she would ever be looked at as a, you know what Lorena Bobbitt is, right, Frank?
Of course. No, sure.
Yeah. I don't know that she'd be looked at as a hero. But anyways, I don't want to get off the topic. Point being is that we have a problem with women in our country being killed in with hands of handguns and violence.
Is that part of a message that you talk to your kids about, as far as, especially now that they're going to be thrust into, your oldest son is going to be thrust into a stage that is going to get even brighter than it already was, where everything he does is under a microscope. How have you tried to inform him or coach him as far as how he should be treating women and what the respect level should be?
I'm glad you asked me that question, because I'll clearly tell you what I told him. I told him that I'm learning at the same time as you, because what your dad was taught was crap.
Oh, okay.
What men were taught in yesteryear before the Me Too movement was crap.
And trying to figure out how
and trying to navigate and talk through and talk about, right? Because we just didn't. I mean, you know, we start getting the sexual harassment videos after the whole Clarence Thomas, Anita Hill. That's when that will start coming out. Mm-hmm. But they really did not dig into what we needed to know. Have you guys seen Terry Crews right now lately on the internet? Mm-hmm. He's been getting a lot of stuff on Twitter. Other black celebrities have been making jokes at him because, you know, Terry Crews had the situation where he was harassed and everything, and how he kind of had to keep that to himself, and he came out.
Yeah, he got felt up at a party by somebody who was a pretty powerful person in Hollywood, and he's been getting a whole lot of flack from people saying, like, well, you're such a big, powerful dude, why didn't you do something about it?
Absolutely. And so he's really been having a thing where, I mean, it's been like he's been getting it bad. So again, what I tell my sons is, with your dad and my dad, what we learned in the past, it was all bad, right? Like, we did not learn the right way. And I think only now that we are having these conversations that truly people we're learning. We really are learning what to do, what not to do.
It also takes quite a bit to say, hey, just so you know, a lot of the things that I was taught coming up were wrong.
Yep.
That's a difficult thing for a lot of people to do. And that's, I think, a reason why there is such tension, is that there are a lot of people who don't like to admit that they were wrong.
Why is that? Why did that Gillette commercial come out and people got so upset? Like, why did that bother you? Like, if the Gillette commercial is not talking to you, then it shouldn't bother you. It's like, hey, you know what? I'm perfect. Then great. Then how about somebody that's not perfect? Don't you want them to learn? Oh, my goodness. All right, what do you guys got, man? It's too heavy.
Oh, boy.
It's too heavy.
Not me. Don't pick me.
Don't pick you?
I'll go after either David or Drew.
I wanted to talk about this weird measles outbreak that's happened down near Portland. I understand. I don't know the full extent to what the anti-vaccination movement is all about, kind of why it is really sort of propelling some people to think that they've got a better leg up on how medicine works, or what they think they're going to be doing. But I feel like when you're taking some of these leaps and making these decisions about your child's health, you really are affecting everybody else as well. And that's also, and it seems like that's where really the problems are coming up with the anti-vaccination group, is that it's like, you know, whatever choice you want to make for your child's health is one thing, but then when by proxy you are having a ripple effect and affecting everybody's health going forward, that's where I don't understand. I feel like I know that I don't have children, so I can't put myself in that sort of mindset, but I feel like there's just kind of this level of selfishness that's kind of happening, where people are putting them and their kids above everybody else.
I try to put myself into a parent who decides not to get vaccinated, right? And I wonder if some of those parents, maybe they've seen like different types of doctors and maybe didn't see the traditional doctor that the pediatrician or whatever that my kid's doctor, whatever. He
says, now's the time when you get these vaccines.
Right. And I was thinking, if my doctor would have said, hey, G, you know what? I don't think your kid should get vaccinated, and here's why. I probably would have said, oh, okay.
Because they're a doctor.
Because they're a doctor.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I would not have, because I had that kind of faith in the doctor that grabbed my kids out. You know what I mean?
That's what we should do. I have a tendency to default to somebody who spent 7 more years in medical school than I did.
So there it is. I mean, I would default to that. So for someone who decides not to, Drew, I think and assume maybe they got that information from another type of doctor?
I don't know. That's what worries me, G, is that I wonder how many people are substituting advice from another doctor and instead going with advice from a Facebook group that is filled with a bunch of people that they agree with.
Now that's worse. I'm like, hey, I don't know about that. Now, if you got it from a doctor, I'm telling you what my doctor. My doctor said, hey, we'll see you at this date for your shots.
Right.
Cool.
You're in.
That's one thing.
Good topic there, Drew.
Thank you.
Good topic.
Mine's boring.
Bring on the boring.
Bring on the boring. It's pretty light. Last night I went and saw a movie that I've been very curious about. It's gotten terrific reviews.
Yep.
Called Stan and Ollie. It is about Laurel and Hardy. I went to a 10 o'clock showing, 9:50 actually.
Wait, you went to a 9:50?
A 9:50 showing.
Wow.
Stayed up late.
Oh, man.
I know.
I'm asleep.
There were a total of 3 people in the theater, of which I was one.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked out of it and I thought, you know what? I'm betting that the world has passed by and there is at least one generation that doesn't know who Laurel and Hardy is. Huh. And so I checked around today. I asked my daughter. No idea who they are. Let me show you a picture of them. Nope. No. I think, no, don't know him. Did it to David. Same thing with David. David knew that he could probably identify them from a picture, but really was unfamiliar with them. And I thought, okay, I know this is an indication that I am old. I get that. Mm-hmm. But I also, what struck me is how the society has changed so much and maybe it always has done this,
right? But
has embraced now the latest thing on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or wherever, and forgotten some of the stuff that, hate to say it, but I think had value. I'm wondering how far that extends. Not just, sure, okay, Laurel and Hardy, a good example. But, I mean, go back to the 60s and ask yourself, if could I ask the average millennial or maybe slightly younger, Bobby Kennedy,
right?
What did he do?
Mm-hmm.
Why was he important? Mm-hmm. Just short of Dr. Martin Luther King.
Well, Frank, I would think the short answer to that is
I'm old.
Back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, and all
50s,
that,
into
50s, into the 50s. I think the biggest thing is there was just mainstream, so there was only so much that all of us would know of.
Yeah.
Whereas you think there was probably more acts, entertainers, and things just in the 90s than there were in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s all put together.
Or at least we're aware of them.
Oh, right. So there's so much to make. Now much more. Now you go into the 21st century. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I think I agree with G on that. I think it partially has to do with the sheer volume of consumable stuff that comes out.
But think about, Stan Kinison.
Mm-hmm.
Who's
Sam Kinison?
Sam Kinison.
Sam Kinison.
Mm-hmm. I like Sam Kinison.
I bet we could go through 20 people in this building who wouldn't know who he was.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
And I think that's a part of it. Yes, I think you guys are absolutely right. Mm-hmm. That entertainment became splintered as the technology changed. And yes, there's less understanding of something like Laurel and Hardy or whatever, Abbott and Costello or whoever, whenever. However, what I wonder about is, are we losing something in the society by being so disposable about, big talents that do occur.
Yes.
I would totally say so. If for no other reason than that feeling of when you see a movie that was fantastic, that had really good acting and everything, but it just kind of breezed by. Nobody went and saw it. It didn't affect necessarily the quality of it or whatsoever, but it kind of felt like it just kind of got lost in just the sea of so many things to take in and enjoy that. I mean, I think about how it used to be where you're like, what is the Tom Hanks movie that's coming out this year?
Right.
Whereas now, like, there might be, Tom Hanks was in 3 movies, and you're like, those didn't register on my radar. Like, it doesn't have the same sort of importance just because there's so much other stuff that it's trying to compete with.
One more quick example. Last weekend, I finished the latest John Grisham novel, The Reckoning. Good book. Great book. I've read almost all of his books. I would bet that everybody in this room, I'm the only one who's ever read a John Grisham book. And yet, he is one of the most successful world authors in the last 20 years. Am I right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
I think you might be right.
Yeah.
See? Okay.
Well, according to that book that I was just reading this weekend called This Is Marketing by Seth Godin, the one thing that holds true, if you want to have a product today, your product needs and has to be amazing.
Okay.
Because back in the day, you can just slap anything on there, slap a label on it, and people would buy. Today, we are some tough buyers. We don't just buy anything. Matter of fact, earlier today, I said, Drew, what about these headphones? He was like, yeah, it says that, but you know what? You go ahead and tell them. Put it in the what?
There's a website called Fake Spot that will allow you to drop in any Amazon product and see how many of the reviews are genuine and how much are artificially inflated.
Really?
Yes.
See what I'm saying?
Fakespot.com.
Fake Spot.
That's my point. It is tough today. You got a product, it better be good. Coming up next, Stacey Joe comes in. You listen to KIRO Nights. G. Scott.